Have you ever heard silence speak louder than a scream? This is the story of a man who once sang to packed stadiums, who had a voice people would pay to hear. But when tragedy took away his voice, he thought his life was over. What he didn't know was that losing his voice would lead him to something far more powerful, his purpose. Arav was a star. His songs ruled the charts. His voice had magic. People said his voice healed hearts. Every concert ended in standing ovations. Every album was a hit. Fame, money, fancy had everything. But the one thing he never imagined losing was his voice. One rainy night, while driving back from a show, Arav's car skidded off the highway. He survived, but with deep neck injuries. After weeks in the hospital, he tried to speak, but nothing came out. Not a whisper, not a word. The doctors told him his vocal cords were permanently damaged. "You'll never sing again," they said. Arav didn't react. He just stared. And for the first time in his life, he was truly silent. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. Arav locked himself away. No media, no visitors. The world thought he had disappeared. But the truth was, he was mourning the death of his identity. Who was he without his voice? He would sit by the window, watching the rain, the birds, the sky, and feel nothing. There were no melodies in his mind anymore. Just pain, just questions, just silence. One day, his old friend Ria came to visit. She had been his manager before the accident, and one of the few people who truly knew him beyond the fame. She didn't speak much, just sat beside him and held out a note. It read, "There's a school nearby for hearing-impaired children. They're organizing a music day, I thought. Maybe you'd like to come, even if you don't sing." He pushed the note away. What was the point? Music was dead for him. But something about the word children stayed in his heart. A few days later, unsure why, Arav walked into that school. The children were laughing, signing to each other, some dancing without any rhythm. A little girl held a toy microphone and moved her lips as if she was singing, though no sound came out. Yet her face, her expression was full of joy. Something shifted in Arav. One of the teachers introduced him to the class in sign language. "This is Arav. He used to sing all over the world. But now, he sings with his heart, not his voice." Arav looked at the kids. They looked back at him, not with pity, not with confusion, but with acceptance, as if his silence made him one of them. Over the next few weeks, Arav began visiting more often. He learned sign language. He taught the children how to feel music through vibrations. He would place a speaker on the floor, let the kids stand barefoot, and guide their hands to move with the beat. He taught them how to use body, hands, and expressions to express rhythm. For the first time since the accident, Arav felt alive. He wasn't just teaching them music, he was learning how to listen, without sound. One day, the same little girl who held the toy mic came up to him with a crumpled piece of paper. On it, she had drawn a stick figure with a heart coming out of its chest. She signed, "You sing from here." And that broke something inside him. Or maybe it healed something. He realized that his voice was never just in his throat. It was in his passion, his purpose, his love for music. And that was still alive. Months passed. Arav helped the school organize a special performance. The children performed a full song using only sign language. Expressions, movement, synchronized, hands, and absolute silence. Yet when the curtains dropped, the entire hall was in tears. No one had heard a single note, but everyone had felt the music. That day, Arav stood on stage beside the children, placed his hand on his heart, and smiled. For the first time, not as a singer, but as someone who had finally found his voice where it had always been. He never returned to the stage as a performer, but he became something far greater voice for those who didn't have one. Today, Arav runs a music academy for hearing-impaired children. He travels to schools, villages, and cities, teaching people that music isn't just sound, it's emotion. And emotion doesn't need a voice to be heard. So if you've ever felt like life has taken away your greatest gift, if you've ever stared at your reflection and wondered who you are, without the one thing you thought defined you, remember Arav. Remember the man who lost his voice, but found his soul. Because sometimes, when the world goes silent, that's when you hear your true purpose.